Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day today. Before we get started with today's video, I want to thank everybody. We're at 18,600 subscribers, almost to 18,700. You guys don't know how much this means to me. Also want to remind you that you can become a member to the channel now for just 99 cents. As of January 1st, 2023, the MVP, VIP, and Pro will be coming off, and all those perks will transfer over to the 99-cent member. It's a great way to support the channel and support the content you like. Having said that, I want to say thank you to two of my newest members, Renato Zelenko and David H. Paul. Thank you guys so much for becoming members to the channel. You don't know how much this means to me, and your support of the channel guarantees that it can keep going on in the future. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know I go over a lot of content that is Linux related. But I also every now and then touch on Microsoft, Google, Apple, and some of the things that they do that really irritates me. Now, if you all remember, a little over a year ago, Apple came out and it said it will scan photos stored on iPhones and iCloud for child abuse imagery. Well, when this was first announced, I really had an issue with it for the simple fact that let's say that, 0.5% or 0.01% of iPhone owners are carrying around sexually explicit things on their phone. Not counting people that are, taking pictures of themselves and sending it to boyfriends or girlfriends. But at the time, I thought this is a real dangerous path that Apple's choosing to go down. They were planning to scan photos stored on iPhones and iCloud for child abuse imagery. But where does that start and where does it stop? My question is if they're scanning all your photos, they're not just scanning for child abuse imagery, they're scanning everything. They could scan bank account numbers, they could scan whatever you might take a picture of on a daily basis. The new system could allow law enforcement and criminal investigations, but may open the door to increased legal and government demands for user data. That's where my problems came in. If you're scanning every photo that I have on my phone, that's an issue. That is a major privacy issue, in my opinion. When do we say, okay, how much of our freedom are we going to give up so you can go scan through my stuff or other people's stuff just to see if you can catch somebody doing something wrong? That's the problem I have with it. It's kind of like when they started the Patriot Act here in the United States 20 years ago. It started off as something minor, but now it's full-scale scanning of everything, phone calls, text messages, etc., etc. And they save all this data, and they put this data in like their own big search engine so they can go out and anything you've ever said or taken pictures of or conversed about, they can actually go out there and say, hey, so-and-so did this, or hey, Troy at eBuzz Central hates Microsoft Windows. Let's see what we can do. The whole point to me is we can't give this up. We can't give our freedoms up in the name of you trying to do your job as a law enforcement official. It's not our job. It's not our job to give you our data so you can go out and try to catch other people. The problem I had is if you've got somebody, you generally know who these people are. You have their phones, whether they're on Android, whether they're on Apple. You know what kind of businesses they're going to. You know what kind of money they're spending online. You got a tracking on them every step of the way. So why do you have to go in and scan our photos? And I remember at the time, a lot of people were throwing fits about it. They were upset about it. Well, Apple took a big about face on that today in the form of end-to-end encryption on all iCloud backups. So basically, whether it be messages, let's go down here. Don't let me speak out of turn. Apple has unveiled plans to let users choose to encrypt their iCloud backups in a move that will thwart hackers and also put limits on law enforcement requests for user data. The new feature, known as Advanced Data Protection for iCloud, will allow users to encrypt data on Apple servers and thus prevent Apple itself from accessing a user's content. The new content types that support end-to-end encryption, which is E2EE, include iCloud backups, notes, and photos. I think this is very, very important because a lot of us take notes. You may put down bank accounts, you may put down credit cards, whatever you might be doing on your phone. Nobody should have access to that other than you. That's what I believe. Same thing with your photos, and same thing with anything you're backing up on the cloud. You're entrusting people with your information, and them to come out and finally say, we're going to have end-to-end encryption. Not only will we not be able to give it to law enforcement, we won't have access to it. Now, this approach extends the 14 data categories that by default are protected by end-to-end encryption, such as iCloud keychain, health data, messages in iCloud, maps, and Safari history. Now, with the new approach, the categories have expanded to a total of 23. As Apple notes, with advanced data protection, only a user's trusted device will have access to those categories of data. It will protect user content even in the event attackers compromise iCloud servers. So what that means is, in the past, you were able to save things on iCloud servers, but they could bust in, they could hack that server and get all of your information on it. Now they can't. It's going to have end-to-end encryption, which means there will be a key on your device, a key at the servers, and if you don't have that key, you can't access the data. Point blank, period. So that means if Uncle Sam comes calling or any government comes calling and says, hey, we want so-and-so's information off your cloud, we don't have the encryption key. I'm sorry. Advanced data protection for iCloud will be available to U.S. users by the end of the year. It will start rolling out to the rest of the world in early 2023. The option will be released in the available soon-to-be iOS 16.2, iPadOS 16.2, and macOS 13.1. Apple makes the most secure mobile devices on the market, and now we are building on that powerful foundation. Ivan Krishtik, Apple's head of security and engineering and architecture, said, advanced data protection is Apple's highest level of cloud data security, giving users the choice to prevent the vast majority of their most sensitive iCloud data with end-to-end encryption so that it can only be decrypted on their trusted devices. Digital rights group Electronic Frontiers Foundation welcomed end-to-end encryption iCloud backups, something it's long campaigned for. Apple chief Tim Cook previously explained Apple hadn't encrypted iCloud backups because users sometimes lose their private key and then seek help from Apple to regain access to their data. Encryption is one of the most important tools we have for maintaining privacy and security online, said EFF's Joe Mullen. Apple's on-device encryption is strong, but some especially sensitive iCloud data, such as photos and backups, have continued to be vulnerable to government demands and hackers. Categories that remain not protected by end-to-end encryption include iCloud, Mail, Contacts, and Calendar, because of the need to interpolate with global email contacts and calendar systems, according to Apple. For users who opt in, advanced data protection keeps most iCloud data protected, even in the case of a data breach in the cloud. That's what everybody needs to understand. It's going to be encrypted. So even if somebody does hack into Apple servers, they're not going to be able to access the content because they don't have the encryption key that'll be only available on the trusted device which the user has in their hand. Not everyone is happy, though, according to the Washington Post. The FBI has said it is deeply concerned with the threat end-to-end and user-only access encryption poses, saying that it hinders the agency's ability to protect against criminal acts. Many governments and law enforcement agencies are worried that the increasing use of end-to-end encryption will make it harder for them to gain access to information. I don't care, and neither should you as a user. It's not our job to just hand you our data, because 99% of us aren't doing anything wrong, so why do you need it? That's what really pisses me off about most of what law enforcement and government agencies say, is they come out and say it's for the protection of the world, it's for the protection of the country. Really, what do my text messages and emails have to do with protecting anything that has to be in your ball field for crime? Because I'm not a criminal. That's what really concerned me about this. When you start scanning people's data, you can start building around what their political beliefs are, what kind of products they like, other kind of people they connect with. It's kind of a, let's connect all the dots and maybe we can lead it back to this guy and bring him in and question him. You know, if I have 4 friends that are friends with a criminal, but I've never met that criminal, I'm going to be connected to him because I have 4 friends that I'm either connected to on social media online, or maybe I'm friends with them out in the open in public and they happen to know somebody that is a bad guy. That doesn't connect me in any way, but that would give the government the right to go through all of my information to see if they could dig something up. I don't agree with it. Now, another group of people that aren't happy are some activists out there. Activists respond to Apple choosing encryption over invasive image scanning plans. When Apple introduced its slate of initiatives to prevent the spread of child sexual abuse, or CSAM, last year, they were controversial to say the least. While some praised the company for taking action, there was also no shortage of detractors, some of whom said that Apple plans to do on-device scanning for illegal content would require an unacceptable huge hit to user privacy. The backlash caused Apple to delay these features back in September of last year, and then they eventually made their announcement today. Now, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children came out, and they were going to be one of Apple's partners for its image scanning system, with the center providing both the hashes of known CSAM images and assistance with reviewing anything the system found before contacting authorities. As you might imagine, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is not happy. They don't believe in the iCloud privacy measures of end-to-end encryption. The National Center said they oppose the privacy measures that ignore the undisputed realities of child sexual exploitation online, said Michelle DeLon, the organization's CEO. We support privacy measures to keep personal data secure, yet privacy must be balanced with the reality that countless children are being sexually victimized online every day. End-to-end encryption without a solution in place to detect child sexual exploitation will allow lawless environments to flourish, embolden predators, and leave child victims unprotected. Proven technology tools exist and have been used successfully for over a decade that allow the detection of child sexual exploitation with surgical precision. In the name of privacy, companies are enabling child sexual exploitation to occur unchecked on their platforms. Now, my question is this: why aren't we hounding Facebook? Why aren't we hounding Twitter? Why aren't we I see things on Facebook every day that are questionable, and nobody ever says anything about them. And then somebody will write something political, and they get slammed, or they get banned, or they get reported. That's the problem I have. Where does one begin and the other end? That is the problem. If you're going to say that the only reason sexual exploitation is happening is because of iPhones and Android phones, you've got another thing coming. I know right now I can go online and do a check, and I've got sexual predators living within 10 miles of my home. I bet if you all did it in the United States, you've got sexual predators living within 10 miles of your home. They are supposed to be reported to you. When they move into your neighborhood, you're supposed to get something in the mail. It doesn't always happen. How about we start there? How about we start with what we know is already out there with sexual predators? How does scanning my phone give you anything closer to catching a sexual predator? They say exploitation with surgical precision, that they can point it out. Well, if you all remember, about 6 months ago, I did a video about how Google location services got an innocent man arrested and put in jail. Because Google said, we got surgical precision. We can tell you exactly who was where, when, why, and how, and when it happened. And the man was arrested and put in jail. Well, guess what? He was innocent. So don't come out and say that you can do things with surgical precision. I am all for stopping the sexual exploitation of children. I promise you I am. We have to stop it. It's something that's totally horrible. But at the same time, I don't think the world should give up their privacy, and I don't think the world should give up their online data just so you can say that you're using it for something like this. That's my personal opinion. Now, what I need from you as viewers, what do you think? Did Apple make the right decision here? This end-to-end encryption to protect all your data on the iPhone, is that the right move? Or do you believe it should be left open so government entities and law enforcement can scan your phone and your data anytime they want to for whatever they want to? What do you think? Please, I want people to respond in the comments below. I want to open this up. I want people to talk about it. I cover Linux on this channel. I know that. I cover open source on this channel, but I also am concerned with privacy online, and I really want your 2 cents on this. Please, whatever you think, drop that in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms: YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey. And you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.